Imagine a bustling shopping mall on a sunny Saturday afternoon suddenly shattered by screams and chaos. April 13, 2024, Bondi Junction. What started as a routine shopping day spiraled into a deadly rampage. Amidst the terror, one police officer stood between the assailant and potential further carnage. But how did a single officer prevent a bad situation from becoming a catastrophe? What happened in those critical moments when every second counted? Today, we unravel the chaos at Westfield Bondi Junction, dissecting a day marked by both horror and heroism, where ordinary lives met extraordinary bravery. Stay with us as we step into the heart of Sydney's darkest day, understanding the actions that saved lives and the spirits that soared despite adversity. As the clock struck mid afternoon on a busy Saturday, the atmosphere at Westfield Bondi Junction, typically filled with the sounds of casual chatter and the occasional laughter of children, was abruptly disrupted. Panic ensued as a man wielding a knife began his unpredictable assault. Shoppers initially mistook the commotion for a minor scuffle or a promotional event gone awry, but the reality of the danger quickly set in as screams pierced the air. Eyewitnesses recount a scene of utter confusion and fear. Gavin Lockhart, a 37-year-old shopper, described seeing families suddenly break into sprints, their faces distorted with fear. One moment, kids were tugging on toys, and the next, everyone was just running for their lives, he stated. Staff members at various stores made split second decisions to either barricade the doors or usher people to the back rooms, transforming clothing racks and storerooms into makeshift safe havens. The assailant, identified as Joel Kochai, a 40-year-old man from Queensland, was reported to have a disturbed demeanor. Witnesses described him as frantic, moving quickly through the crowd, targeting victims at random, which amplified the terror. His approach was chaotic, lacking any discernible pattern, which made the attacks even more terrifying as no one could predict his next move. Security footage later reviewed by authorities showed Kochai entering the mall through the main entrance, blending in with the crowd before commencing his attack near a popular electronics store. The footage captured him brandishing a large kitchen knife, which he wielded with deadly precision. As he moved through the mall, his pace was erratic, and his targets were indiscriminate, adding an unpredictable element to the already frantic efforts to evade him. The immediate response by mall security and local police was swift but hampered by the sheer panic and the crowded conditions. Michael Dunkley, owner of a local coffee shop, became an unwitting first responder. I saw him charging towards a group near the food court, and that's when I pulled everyone I could into my shop and locked the doors, Dunkley recalled. His quick thinking likely saved several lives, demonstrating the crucial role of civilian bravery in moments of crisis. The attack lasted mere minutes, but for those caught in the chaos, it felt like an eternity. The mall, a complex labyrinth of shops and eateries, became a scene of a desperate survival story played out in real time. As the reality of the violence sank in, the collective effort to protect one another stood out, illustrating both the best and most horrifying aspects of human nature under duress. As the chaos unfolded at Westfield Bondi Junction, the rapid response of police and emergency services became a critical factor in containing the situation and minimizing further harm. Within minutes of the first emergency call, sirens blared as law enforcement and paramedics converged on the scene. Their arrival was a grim reminder of the severity of the situation, yet also a signal to those trapped inside that help was on the way. Central to the police response was the action taken by a senior policewoman who was nearby when the alert went out. Armed only with her service weapon and training, she navigated through the panicked crowds to confront the assailant. Security footage later highlighted her approach, calm and deliberate, despite the surrounding turmoil. As she closed in on the attacker, her commands for him to drop the knife were met with aggression. In a decisive moment, she engaged him, preventing what could have escalated into even more tragic outcomes. Her bravery not only neutralized the threat, but also served as a poignant example of the sacrifices made by officers in the line of duty. Meanwhile, amidst the terror, numerous acts of civilian bravery emerged. Michael Dunkley, the coffee shop owner, not only secured his premises but also ventured back into the fray to assist the wounded. Armed with makeshift bandages from store supplies, he and other volunteers provided critical first aid. These efforts were crucial in the initial minutes before medical professionals could reach the injured. Andrew Reed, a 44-year-old lifeguard shopping that day, exemplified the resourcefulness seen amongst the crowd. Using his emergency response training, he administered first aid, focusing particularly on a young mother and her child, both of whom were among the first to be attacked. His quick action to apply pressure to their wounds likely saved their lives, demonstrating the profound impact of community members in crisis situations. The coordinated effort between the police and the mall's security staff also played a pivotal role. They implemented a lockdown procedure that had been rehearsed but never before enacted, guiding shoppers to designated safe areas and assisting in the evacuation once the immediate threat was subdued. As the emergency unfolded, the collective response highlighted a community's capacity for courage and unity in the face of unspeakable violence. The stories of those at Bondi Junction that day speak to an instinctive drive to protect and assist, qualities that resonated deeply within the community and beyond in the aftermath of the attack. In the immediate aftermath of the stabbing rampage at Westfield Bondi Junction, the toll was grave. 6 lives tragically cut short and several others severely injured, including a 9-month-old baby. The community was left reeling as the names and stories of the victims began to circulate, painting a somber picture of the day's harrowing events. Medical teams at the scene worked tirelessly, with paramedics treating the wounded amidst the chaos before transporting them to nearby hospitals. Emergency rooms were put on high alert as doctors and nurses prepared for an influx of patients needing urgent care. The medical response was swift and efficient, a testament to the rigorous training and dedication of Sydney's healthcare workers. Among the injured, the conditions varied from critical to stable, but all required immediate and ongoing attention, adding a strain on medical resources and personnel. The community's support in the days following the attack was a silver lining to the tragedy. Blood drives saw record turnouts, and vigils were held throughout the city, bringing together people from all walks of life. Local businesses and residents offered everything from free meals and accommodations to psychological counseling for victims, first responders, and anyone affected by the incident. This outpouring of support not only provided much needed resources, but also helped begin the healing process for a community in shock. In terms of impact, the incident left a deep scar on the local community of Bondi Junction and the broader Australian public. The attack, occurring in such a familiar and typically safe setting, shattered the sense of security many had taken for granted. Public sentiment oscillated between grief for the victims and their families and a palpable tension over the perceived increase in public spaces' vulnerability. Discussions about mental health, security in public venues, and community readiness to handle such crises dominated media and public forums. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and local officials addressed the nation, pledging to review and enhance security measures while also emphasizing the strength and resilience of the Australian people. The Prime Minister's commendation of the heroic efforts by civilians and first responders mirrored the community's sentiments, reinforcing a national identity proud of its camaraderie and quick action in times of crisis. As Bondi Junction began to recover, the focus shifted toward understanding and preventing future tragedies, ensuring that the lessons learned from this dark day would forge pathways toward safer and more united communities. The attacker, identified as Joel Kochai from Queensland, was reported to have had a history of mental health issues. His move to Sydney a month prior to the incident and subsequent actions have led investigators and psychologists alike to delve into his past, seeking insights that might explain his motivations. While no clear motive has been established, the lack of any direct targeting suggests that his actions were the result of a deeply troubled mind rather than a calculated attack. The psychological impact of such random acts of violence is profound, instilling fear and uncertainty in the community. Incidents like the Bondi Junction stabbing disrupt the collective sense of safety, leading to increased anxiety and vigilance in public spaces. Societally, these events can erode trust in security measures and heighten tensions around mental health discussions and support systems. They force a reevaluation of both personal and communal strategies for safety and crisis management. The tragic events at Bondi Junction serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of public safety and the heroism that often arises in the face of danger. From the decisive action of the police officer who stopped the assailant to the bravery of civilians like Michael Dunkley and Andrew Reed, these acts of courage highlight the best of human capacity for selflessness and quick thinking. Moving forward, it is crucial for communities and policymakers to strengthen the security protocols in public areas and enhance mental health support networks. By learning from such incidents, measures can be put in place to better detect and manage potential threats, ensuring a safer environment for all. We encourage everyone to support local safety initiatives and mental health resources, engaging in community safety programs and promoting mental health awareness are steps we can all take to foster a resilient community. Let's unite to reinforce our collective security and ensure that the bonds of community are not only maintained but strengthened in the wake of adversity.